Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. It is 8:30 in the morning and I'm gonna get ready for the day, but this video is going to be all about reading spooky books for a month because it's that time of year. So currently it's first week of September and I love horror, spooky things, and it's just the time of year. Okay, in my last video, if you watched it, I was talking about how we moved into our new house, new to us because the house is over 100 years old and it has good energy, but I didn't want to freak myself out moving in here and it not being my home yet. So I took a pause from scary movies, from scary books, all that sort of stuff, just until we felt super comfortable in the home and it was like my own house, you know? And we've made it just in time for spooky season. So I was ready, I was feeling the itch for the scary stories, so I'm very excited. And I've already started on my first book. So the book I chose to start with for the spooky season of reading, I chose because the author is the king of horror and I've actually never read any of his books. So we're reading The Shining by Stephen King. I have seen the movie The Shining. It is scary. It's definitely, he kind of writes like a very interesting type of horror. He also wrote It, you know, the clown movie, Misery. So I've seen several Stephen King movies, just never read the books. For some reason in my brain I was thinking they'd be difficult to read because he's like an older author. I don't know. And I just thought that would be the best way to kick off this video because, again, he's the king of horror. He's written so many books. So I'm actually already 168 pages in, okay? And so far, the book is definitely better than the movie, which I feel like is just typically the case. There's just more detail that goes into books. So I am loving it. Essentially, it is, if you haven't seen The Shining or don't know what it's about, it's this family of three, mom, dad, son, who's like 5, and they go to this hotel for the winter when the hotel's completely closed. The dad's in charge of like taking care of the hotel. He's gotten like this last minute job. They're kind of in a pinch because they don't have a ton of money. And he took this job as like, he's trying to get his life back on track because he's a recovering alcoholic. Things are a bit of a mess in their marriage. Anyway, the little boy who's 5 has a gift, and that's why it's called The Shining. Okay, the little boy has a gift, which I caught in the movie, but it's obviously just so much more in depth in the book. So they go to this hotel for the winter, like several months, and the hotel is supposedly haunted, or there's like word of it being haunted because people have died in the hotel. So that's like my brief synopsis of it. My brother is also reading this. He actually just finished it. I told him I was reading it, he started reading it, and he finished it before me. But he says there's a chapter in it that's super, super scary. Chapter 25, but I'm only on chapter 14, so I can't wait to get there. Sometimes I underestimate how scary a book is gonna be, you know, because like a movie, it's right in your face. It definitely can be scary, but we're gonna see. We're gonna find out. I'm so excited. And the last thing I'll say too about this is the point of view is like, I don't know what the technical term is, I need to figure it out, but it's not from any one person's point of view. It's almost like there's like an overarching narrator and then you get all of their points of view, but not separated by chapters. Like within one chapter, you could get multiple people's point of view. So very interesting. I'm already learning a bunch of new words. So enough of the rambling. We're starting with The Shining, and this is also on Spotify Premium for free, so I've been listening to it while I'm driving as well. So I hope to read like at least 4 books in this video. Ideally, I have a month. That's the plan. And I'm calling it spooky books because I'm not so sure I'm gonna stick to horror. I might do like mystery thriller. I might do like cozy mystery. We'll see. So stay tuned. I'm so excited, you guys. The best time of year, the best activity, reading.
George gave him a final furious glance to find their way out. You said it, I had. You hate me because you know.
Hi guys. We're gonna get back to reading. I am on chapter 43, page 504. didn't realize there were so many pages in this book. It's definitely gotten spookier. I can't remember what I said in my last clip, but it's definitely spooky. And something I did want to say as a warning, because I did not look up any warnings for this book, it's very much mature themes, okay? There's cursing, there's racism, there is sexual things, if you know what I mean. So just be warned. I feel like I'm a fairly sensitive person and I can still handle it, but I just think maybe look up warnings, just in case. But the spookiness factor is there. It's creepy as HE double hockey sticks. So I'm gonna keep coasting through. Good morning, guys. It is officially October. How exciting. Today's actually October 3rd. It's the Mean Girls Day, I just realized. Anyway, I wanted to update you guys because I did finish The Shining, finally. Took me a while, but it was great. I actually really liked it. It was definitely better than the movie. Stephen King is obviously gifted, has written a zillion books, and multiple of his books are movies now, or have been made into movies multiple times. I would love to see The Shining made again, updated. Of course, the original movie is still great. Love it. I still need to watch it. I was trying to watch it last night, but it wasn't working. We are at an Airbnb, me and my husband. He's traveling for work, so I came with him. So I couldn't get it to work last night. I'll have to watch it when we get back home. But I was just thinking how fun it would be to get like a new updated movie with like new technology, CGI and stuff. Anyway, I do highly recommend that book. I gave it 5 stars. And then I started a new book because it was time. The next one I wanted to do on my Kindle. It's called We Used to Live Here, which I talked about in my last spooky books video. But that's what I was feeling like reading next. I love bringing my Kindle with me when I'm traveling because you can put so many books into a tiny Kindle, so I can swap around. And something about me is I always am reading multiple books at once. I think I might have ADHD, and maybe that's a symptom. I don't know what it is, but I physically cannot be reading one book at a time. Like if I pull up all the books I'm reading, I have a book on nutrition in my bag that I brought. I have at least 2 self-help books on my Kindle that I'm actively reading. I'm also reading, this is trigger warning, but I'm also reading a book on suicide. It's been fascinating. I'm also reading the thriller book, the We Used to Live Here. So let me know if any of you guys do that, because I don't know, like some people will tell me I don't know how you read so many books at once, but I don't know how people only read one book at a time. I don't think I could do it. And I feel like I'm pretty good at keeping them all straight, because obviously they're not all in the same genre, so it's like easier to keep them straight with each other. Anyway, so let's see how far I am. Okay, We Used to Live Here. I am only 9 pages in, so I like have barely started it, but it's very promising. I talked about it in my last video, but it's about a couple that lives in this house, brand new, or a house they just bought. It's an older house, and they got a really good deal on it, and then this family shows up randomly one day and wants to look around the house because the dad claims to have lived there when he was growing up. The girl lets him into the house because she's a people pleaser, even though she doesn't want to, and then I guess some weird stuff starts happening and they kind of won't leave. So it's very intriguing. I think I was more drawn to want to read that book because my husband and I just bought our first house. You think that would make me less drawn to it, but I love a spooky story. Just got back from the gym, but it is reading time, and I'm gonna crack a cold one. Me and Dylan were just talking about how gross it is to really think about that you are just putting your mouth on top of this can. That's literally the outside of the can. Like people be grabbing the can for the whole journey to get to the gas station, the store, wherever it's at. I'm kind of grossed out, but I'm like, should I sanitize it somehow? Why am I overthinking this now? So good. Now we're ready to get spooky. I just washed my face. It is 2 days later, and I've made some progress in this book. We're on page 227. We're 71% through the book, and I am gripped. I was reading this last night. I was getting spooked. I don't know if I've ever been this spooked by a book. So it's very creepy. I'm reading it very fast because I'm dying to know what is going on. Seems like our main character, a lot of things are happening to her. You can't quite tell if they're real or if she's losing it. I don't know if I have anything else. It's just really good so far, and I'm plowing through it. I bet I'll finish it by tomorrow for sure. By end of day tomorrow, because I was scratching my face. Alright guys, I finished the book last night. The book We Used to Live Here. I was not planning on finishing it because when I checked in with you guys last, I was like around 70-some%. But I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop reading it, so that's a good sign. I stayed up later than I normally would, probably till 10:30 or 11-ish to finish the book. I do recommend it, especially if you're someone who likes to be spooked, because I don't think I've read a scarier book. It had me nervous to walk down the hall, go to the bathroom by myself, sort of an energy. So that doesn't happen often with books, and it was very creepy, very creepy. Okay, I'm gonna give it like a 4 stars because at the end there are some things that don't get tied together how I would have liked. Some things that are kind of like missing pieces. So I looked up other reviews to kind of see if anybody caught something that I missed, kind of make more sense of things, but it seems like all of the reviews I've seen, people kind of agree. It's a very good book. You're really gripped by it. You're very scared, but we do wish that there had been a little bit more tied together. I still very much recommend it. It was very good. Also, I highly related to the main character because I am a recovering people pleaser and she is a people pleaser and also kind of an anxious person. That's what was really cool about the book, is she's an anxious person already, and then weird things are happening, and so it kind of plays on this idea of like, you know, can you trust yourself in certain situations, or are you being paranoid, you know? So there was a lot of that, which was really interesting. Oh, and then there's between regular chapters, there's also these, I've heard other people call them found documents, I don't know what to call them, but there's chapters that are like documents, and they kind of piece together more of the story for you from like a different perspective. At the end of each of those, there is a little Morse code, which I didn't notice until I looked at reviews. If you want to read the book, I suggest just looking up the Morse code at the end of the book to find out what it says, because I don't know Morse code at all, obviously, but that kind of gave a little bit more information, and I did think it was fun. It's kind of fun to have a little code in there. But all in all, I do recommend it. It was very good for spooky season. Very good for that. And I'd be very curious to know, you know, some of your guys' thoughts on the book. And I heard it was the author's debut novel, which is pretty impressive. So I will absolutely read more books by this author. Anyway, I had a great time reading it. You know, I love a book that I'm gripped by. It's a 4-star if it can really hold my attention and I'm really intrigued, but it would be a 5-star if it, you know, wrapped up nicely. It's time to pick our next book, and Dallin helped me pick because I couldn't decide. We're gonna read Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge. This is gonna be a quick read, and I talked about this in my last spooky books video, but it's about this creature, the October Boy, that comes out on Halloween every year in this little Midwestern town, and it's dated in like 1963, so it's a little bit older book. But we're gonna get started on this and keep up with the spooky vibes. Hey guys, it's kind of harsh lighting here, but I wanted to give an update on my book, Dark Harvest. I brought this to our little cabin trip we did with our friends over the weekend and didn't read a stitch of it. We're on another road trip and I am on page 50, so I wanted to update you guys. And I can't remember if I even talked about what this is about in this video yet, but based in 1963, small town, there's this thing called the October Boy. I'm doing a little video, okay now? There's this thing called the October Boy. It's like a scarecrow with a jack-o'-lantern head. This random guy, I don't know who he is, carved it out, okay? And this happens every year. And this jack-o'-lantern person is filled with candy. And there's this thing called the Run. So all the teenage boys in the town gang up or individually go and try and kill this jack-o'-lantern thing and steal its candy, because if you kill the jack-o'-lantern guy, the October boy, you get money, and it's like their only chance to escape this small town, these boys. So you get multiple point of views in this book. You're getting several of the boys, or a few of the boys. You also get the perspective of the October boy and kind of his mission. So that's giving me some theories about what's going on and who the October boy really is, or if there's like a deeper meaning to who he is. Oh, and then another thing is the book also addresses you directly as the reader, which I've heard is called like breaking the fourth wall, and it treats you as if like you're someone who knows what's going on, like you are in on the story, which I kind of find fun. This feels like a really good October read so far. I'm excited to see what happens. I have some theories about October boy and who he is, because I guess his mission is to get from the outskirts of town in the cornfields where he originates, and then to get to the church, the old church in the middle of the town. So I don't know why he has to do that, but it's interesting. I also will say that it took a second to get into this. Like some things I had to read multiple times because of the way it's written, which might just be me. I was getting a little confused at some points, but now I'm feeling good. So we're gonna keep on reading. I'm listening to a spooky Halloween playlist on my phone. And then we also just stopped and got snacks. So got a Core Power protein, 42 grams of protein, which is great. That one's cleaning the car. And then I got my favorite hot Cheetos, but this is the baked version, which is sometimes nice because the macros on it are way better than regular hot Cheetos, and they taste pretty much the same. That's the update. So far, so good. Again, this book is only 179 pages, so I'm hoping I can finish it today or tomorrow. Oh, and then real quick, I also found it on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want to read it and you have Kindle Unlimited, it's on there. I finished my book on the road trip. Just a quick overview. I think I ended up giving this 3.75 stars, but I rounded up to 4 on Goodreads. I did really like it, especially just for what it was. This book is like the epitome of a Halloween horror movie energy. I actually want to watch the movie. I saw that it's out. It came out last year. So I'm gonna watch the movie with Dallin. But yeah, so it's like a little bit cheesy. Also, the way the author writes, he uses a lot of, I think I'd call them metaphors as he's writing, and it made it a little confusing for me. Like, I would have to reread a certain part multiple times and like still not be quite getting it, but it's not like it was important enough that you wouldn't understand what was necessarily happening in the story. That was a little bit tricky. The book was 169 pages, so it's a quick read. But yeah, so that's why I'd say it's not like a deep novel or anything, but for what it is, just like a spooky Halloween horror story, I thought it was great. So I really liked it, and it really added to my spooky atmosphere, and reading with all the leaves falling and the colorful leaves, it was great. So I finished that one. I do recommend it. And then I found a book at the thrift store, The Witch of Blackbird Pond. And this has an award, which is why I kind of picked it up, and witchy stuff. So it is the John Newbery Medal, which I guess is a really great award. And this is for American literature for children. So it is technically a kids chapter book, but I figured after reading the slasher horror energy, I was like, you know what, let's do a witchy kid-friendly book, lighten it up a bit. But this is based in, you know, witch trial era, so like the 1600s, and it's about a girl who moves from Barbados to Connecticut because her family has died and she needs to, you know, move in with her aunt that lives in Connecticut who married a Puritan. So she's moving into this Puritan society. And I haven't read much else of what's going to go on in the book, but I'm assuming she's going to struggle with the basic things of the Puritan society as a woman who's like not from there, because she's probably going to act a bit different, and then it's easier to claim somebody's a witch when they're not acting how they should be in a Puritan society. I'm really excited for this one, and it had really good reviews on Goodreads. It has this award, so I'm assuming it's going to be pretty good, and ready for some witchy stories. This is kind of already reminding me of Slewfoot, which I talked about in my last video. It's another book about that same era, about witchiness, and I really loved that one. It's one of my favorite spooky books. So promising. Let's get started. Hey guys, update. Started my book. We are on page 76. I read a little bit at the hair salon today. I got my hair done. The lighting in here is not great. Beautiful red. We love it. As I first started this book, I was thinking about it when I wasn't reading it, which is a good sign. But today, while I was reading a bit, I was just feeling a little slumpy. That's good. We're on an angle, but oh well. Anyway, I was feeling a bit slumpy about it, so for 1.1 second, I considered DNFing. But I looked up on Goodreads again to see the ratings, and it's got good ratings on Goodreads. And I do love a witch book, so we're gonna push through. It's also on Spotify. I think I already said that, but it's on Spotify's like audiobook library, whatever it's called when you're on premium. So that helps too. I listen to it while I read. So far, there's been a few little signs of this girl maybe not being in the best situation as an outsider going into a Puritan society. I'm gonna predict that somebody's gonna accuse her of being a witch. That's my prediction. Not very far in, but I'll neither confirm nor deny if that happens, so I won't give anything away. Good morning, guys. It's a beautiful fall day. It is rainy. All the leaves have changed. The mountain has snow on it, actually, at the top. It is October 29th. Today I decided I wanted to finish my book. So again, we're on the Witch of Blackbird Pond. I got a little farther in it last night. I'm on page 150. It has gotten better. It's picked up a bit. I think I need to stop judging books harshly until I get past at least 100 pages. It's kind of usually when the story picks up. But before we start reading, I just woke up and we're gonna go to Starbucks and get me a pumpkin spice latte, because I haven't had very many this season, and I figured today's a fall day. So we're gonna get a pumpkin spice latte, maybe a little breakfast. I brought Mana with me. Mana will probably get a puppuccino, and we're gonna have a great fall day. So let's go. I feel like the book I'm reading is not that spooky in the general sense. Like, I kind of knew maybe it wouldn't be, which is why I read it after the last horror book I read. But I do think the whole era of the witch trials in like a Puritan society has spooky energy in itself. Terrifying. Would never want to be living in those days. The spinach feta egg white wrap. And then could I do a venti pumpkin spice latte? Drop it in the bag. Thank you. And a pumpkin. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. What? Yeah, pumpkin. Thank you, pumpkin. Look at him, he's so excited. Okay, we'll stop right here. Mana is a fiend for a puppuccino. Mana, this one's mine. Look at that. Delicious. So I always get less pumpkin spice syrup in my latte. So she said a venti normally has 5 pumps, so I did 3. Let's start reading. While I eat, I'm gonna listen to the audiobook that's on Spotify. finished The Witch of Blackbird Pond. I did like it kind of more than I thought I would. In that one clip I was saying I was kind of feeling slumpy, but I did like it. It is a children's book for sure, but I was kind of glad for that because the whole Puritan society, like I said, is just so sad and scary that it's kind of nice it was a children's book because I knew it wasn't going to get too dark. It also had really sweet parts. It was very fall-esque and cozy, so I would recommend it. And I kind of struggled to know what to rate this because I originally was thinking maybe 4 stars because it's not like an all-time fave, but I really liked it. I was kind of thinking maybe a little lower, like 3.5 or something. But the only reason I would rate it lower is because it wasn't as super gripping, I guess. But then I thought, I think that's just because I'm an adult reading a children's book. So it doesn't feel fair to rate it lower because of that. So I'm gonna stick with 4 stars. I think this is also would be a really good book for like young girls to read about, you know, develop confidence, bravery, like being sure of yourself, that sort of thing. And with that, we're gonna end this spooky reading video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, and then really quick, right before I end this video, I wanted to tell you guys I watched the movie Dark Harvest from the book I just read before this one. They changed almost everything. The only thing they kept was like the overarching idea of like what Dark Harvest was about, but then they changed everything. And I liked the book better, which is typically how it goes anyway. You typically like the book better than the movie, but it was a disappointment. So I would not recommend the movie. Didn't really care for it. But I would love to hear any spooky books you guys recommend because I'm always loving them year round. Thrillers, horror, mystery, witchy books, any of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys, and happy Halloween!